No One Likes Us Clothing is the clothing range designed by Millwall fans for Millwall fans. Caps, t-shirts, polos, they've got it all. Visit noonelikesus.co.uk for the full range. Or if you're in Bermondsey on a match day, why not have a pint in the Blue Anchor pub and pick up a Nolu polo shirt, Nolu clothing at www.noonelikesus.co.uk.
Hi, I'm Gary Rowett and you're listening to the world famous Achtung Millwall.
Welcome, dear listeners. Home again. It's good to be back home again after that away trip. Awful result last week at Sheffield United. We're back at home today playing Coventry City. Your Millwall side this afternoon, dear listeners. Bart is in goal, back line Cresswell, Cooper, Murray, Wallace. On the right side, Danny McNamara, Scott Malone on the left. The midfield this afternoon, Shackleton, Jamie Shackleton, Billy Mitchell, George Hunman returning after his suspension, and up front Mason Bennett Afobe. No new signing. He was introduced to the crowd just before the team entered the arena, but Andreas Vogelsammer, who is regrettably visa tied, coming in from Germany, listeners. But it's a beautiful sunny afternoon. Looks like a decent crowd in the Den. And we need a win. We are reading just before the team to enter the arena that Gary Rowett's got on the South London Press, the London News Online, saying he wants us to attack with a bit more freedom. Yes, indeed, we do want a bit more attack. A great pity that Vogelsammer can't be available for us this afternoon. Gives a bit more spark in and around the box, but we'll have to make do without him for this game at least. Millwall in their traditional dark blue, Coventry City in a sky blue affair with the old Admiral style front stripes. Quite a nice little ensemble, listeners. That is in fine voice, as you can hear, fine voice. It's a hot afternoon. 30 plus. It's going to be a hot afternoon to play football in. Such is the nature of the professional game. They've got to get on with it though. I think we're going to have to drinks breaks at strategic points in the game to enable players to take on water, but you can't imagine pace will be pace will be high relentlessly in this game. Conditions are going to be a factor. Gary Rowett says we've had a week to work, which is nice. It's a luxury we don't often get once the season gets underway. He talks about recovering our standards after that last poor show up there at Bramall Lane. And it was a poor show in the first half especially. Not so much in the second half where we raised it, but no cutting edge. We really do need cutting edge in and around the goal. Anyway, you've heard all that many times over this past week. I'm not going to flog it. The teams are lined up to kick off. Millwall will be attacking the away end in the first half in accordance with the teachings of the Venerable Bede at Jarrow Monastery in Anglo-Saxon England. And away we go. Line straight onto the attack. It's literally seconds into the game. Danny Mack on the right side. Millwall in possession halfway inside the Coventry half, who are currently semi-homeless. Little break down the left side. That's going to go for a throw-in. Yeah, they've had issues with the pitch at the Ricoh Stadium. Yet again, they are having to play fixtures away from their home stadium, Coventry. Midweek League Cup tie played at Burton. And I read that their midweek league fixture at home, I think, to Wigan has been postponed. Someone was asking the question about points deductions if they carry on with this malarkey. Historically, they've used their homeless status to spark up their side. Whether they'll do that here this afternoon obviously remains to be seen. Just a minute into the game now. Such are the extreme weather conditions that we've been allowed to bring our own water into the Den, listeners. Take your top off though at the turnstiles, just in case you turn that into a missile. I brought my own water. How about that? Early left-sided corner for Coventry. 1.5 minutes on the clock. In it comes from the left. It's towards the near post. It's gone in the net. 1-0. Near post header. Lions concede early, disastrous start from Millwall, just what we didn't want. That looked like basic defending error, I'm afraid to say, listeners. Getting caught out with a near post corner. 2 minutes on the clock. Well, if Gary Rowett wants us to attack with more freedom, now is a very good time to start, isn't it, listeners? That's a poor opening from Millwall. Gary Rowett, I believe, needs to find his inner Cruyff. Who was that great quote we saw the other day about him finding his inner Cruyff? Did we say it? We might have said it. He needs to find his inner Johan Cruyff. Coventry have brought 1,900 fans. They're in excellent voice now. Well, that's for them, wonderful start. This is the 23 now on the right side. Millwall not pressing, as you can tell. The 8 has got the ball inside the box and the full to the oncoming midfielders. Last ditch tackles, get it away. That's a shot that's taken a deflection from right side of the corner for Coventry. Early pressure. The crowd will be getting restless if it carries on like this, I can tell you that much. For nothing, listeners. It's end-to-end stuff. Coventry now on the attack. The 24 on the right. This is not the way the script should have gone for the afternoon, listeners. Ball into the centre. It's bouncing around. There's offside. They did in the net. Offside. I think the 24 had the second there. Lions are sloppy, listeners. Lions are being very sloppy. I can't see him, but there was apparently a fat cunt in the vest. That's not the biggest of my concerns right now. My concern is that Millwall have opened up in a similar vein to what we saw at Bramall Lane last Saturday, which frankly wasn't good enough then, and it ain't good enough at the moment. Lions dodge a second one there, so it remains 1-0, 6 minutes into the game. The ball header, this is Bennett, just wide left. Mason Bennett with a little flick header there. Ball into the mix, over the crossbar. Kind of very tight angle from Bellicophobia on the right there. Coventry are already in game management mode, listeners, taking their time over everything. And here they come again on the break. There's a shot from distance that's high over the bar. 7 minutes, all go. It is all go. Yeah, so Gary Rowett mentioned to the London News Online he's had a week to work out things, which is nice. A luxury we don't often get, he says. No evidence, to be honest, of that so far. We're looking at work we do in possession and out of possession, says Rowett. Little bits we work on are about attacking with a bit more freedom and at ways of being more solid in defence. Stop laughing at the back, misses. Looks like Mason's taken a knock. Leaving the field of play. Wow. Substitution, Tyler Bury's coming. He's limping. After that, there was a piece in the week about how unfair it was that he's given the tag of being injury prone. And there he is leaving the field 12 minutes in, injured. Hobbling. That's a loss. So Tyler comes in. Things aren't working out so well for us so far. 12 minutes. Beautiful blue skies above South Bermondsey, listeners. Perhaps one of the most beautiful spots in the world, the Den, do you think? In the sunshine. Deserves a poem. Actually could be called Wanker, Wanker, Wanker. Temper's getting a bit heated out there, listeners. Put it down to the blindingly hot sunshine. So as I say, they did introduce Andreas Vogelsammer to the crowd before kick-off. Apparently he's a player that Gary Rowett has been tracking for some time. A lot of online comment I saw about his scoring record in the Bundesliga, German Bundesliga, not being all that brilliant for Union Berlin. But that said, when you check his Wikipedia page, which has already been adjusted to, he comes from Germany and he plays in Bermondsey, Andreas Vogelsammer, woo. But you check his scoring record in the German second tier for Arminia Bielefeld, it's not bad, 13 goals last few seasons. So, you know, he does know where the back of the net is. Whether that will switch over to the Championship is the $64,000 question, but we shall see. I've been watching Andreas for about 3 years, Gary Rowett told the club official website. He's one I tried to sign early after coming to the Den. I watched him at Arminia Bielefeld before he went to Union Berlin, and he was in double figures there at Arminia, playing anywhere across the front three or behind the strikers. We could certainly do with more imagination going forwards, and the sad sight of Mason Bennett leaving the game earlier on won't help our calls in our front, so he's very welcome. The other story we did see on Richard Corley for the South London Press, no official confirmation of this, that Millwall apparently close to an agreement for Danny McNamara to sign a new contract, which is going to be good news when I hope that's when it happens rather than if. The Eton boating song for Coventry, I always think it's a bit of a poncy old song for a club song, don't you? The Eton boating song, what's that all about? How did that come about? I don't care how it came about, I'm not even going to look. I just think it's a poncy song. This is Coventry coming down our left. There's a ball into the box. That's 2-0, slammed home from the right side, crossing from the left, slammed home on the right. 2-0 Coventry, 28 minutes. This is looking like a disastrous show for Millwall. Caught there on the break again. Well, one thing we've been able to say about Gary Rowett since he came here in 2019, October, is that we haven't really been thumped at home by anybody. We haven't really taken a hiding, have we? But we're looking at a hiding at the moment. This ball breaks as it's Tyler. It goes down to a penalty. Oh, he's giving it a dive. No, oh no, he gives Tyler a yellow card. Oh dear. Tyler took the ball as it broke forwards, was clipped and went down. The referee don't give a penalty, he gives a free kick to Coventry and books him for diving. How's your pre-season fizz going? Do you need a new one? It's gone a bit flat, hasn't it? Get yourself a new one. Oh, I don't mind if I do. A poor ball there, that's 23, just couldn't control a very, very loose pass from defence. Tyler takes and turns on the left side, he breaks. Nice little run, he's going for me. Going for a goal kick. Little moment there where I thought he might have broken through, just under a bit too much pressure and took it too far. A goal kick. Disgruntlement around the Den, you can hear it, listeners. It's been a poor show. Loose passes in defence. Nothing up front so far. I wish I'd better than report. 34 minutes in, 2-0 down. If we concede a third, I think it's good night Vianessa. And Coventry are playing a quite neat passing style. They're not looking overly dangerous. We should be able to deal with this. But they've pulled us apart on 2 occasions now. The corner from the left in the early minutes, and then the second goal was a straightforward break down the left and a cross, and the forward stretch to put it in. We should be dealing with this, we really should. Bennett owns a free kick in midfield. Just inside the Coventry half, fairly central. Floated forward from Scott Malone, it's into the mix. Yes! Headed home! Who was that? Jake Cooper? Couldn't tell you who got his head to it, it's a basic float forwards. Flicked in from a melee, and it tripled into the net in truth. It was always one of those slow motion moments where you couldn't tell what happened. Jake Cooper. We're back in it, 2-1. Let's use that break now, listeners. I'm going to show a replay. It's an odd slow motion kind of goal. Floated forwards. Jake got his head to it in the melee from what I can see on the screen now. They've given it inside the stadium to Jake. 2-1. Scott Malone now with a free kick, deep in their own half. He's got Bennett in acres of space, if you can see him, he hasn't seen him. That's floated forwards again. Cooper with the header, it falls to George Honeyman. Slammed on goal. Off the line for Murray Wallace. Callum Millwall. Danny Mack with a ball back into the mix. The game's turned on its head, listeners. Coventry clear somehow. They'll be looking to break out of defence. Danny Mack's in the mix. Then we've got to keep our discipline and shape, because here they come on the left side. 37 going towards 38 minutes. Coventry coming on our left now. Bennett takes a knock there. That's going to be a free kick. The Den has raised its spirits, listeners. That was a moment that Murray might have had was a great chance. It was cleared off the line as he shot on target there. The pressure in the Coventry defence more, listeners, and they are making errors. That's been what we haven't been doing for most of this godforsaken half, but we are doing it now, coming towards the 40th minute of the game. We are starting to show a little bit more of the free-flowing imagination that Gary Rowett was talking about at last. Okay, we've had to concede 2 goals to get it, but hey, it'll be a free kick. He had enough nous about him to earn the free kick as we tick towards the last seconds of the first half. This will probably be the end of the action with this free kick on the right. Coventry will get the last chance of the first period. No, they won't. The referee calls it up. Not been the greatest half from a Millwall perspective. We did manage to fight our way back into the game with that strange looping header from Jake Cooper. Overall, I'd say not good enough from Millwall, but at least it's only 2.5 time. So we'll be back with you again after these messages, listeners.
Achtung, Millwall.
Welcome back to a very flat half-time break, dear listeners. The teams are out on the pitch. That was a very poor first half for me, for Millwall. We do need to... Gary Rowett really does need to give a rocket up their collective backsides, in my opinion. The midfield, comment from the group chat that we're on, midfield getting criticised, Murray Wallace getting criticised. I think you can probably level that at the whole side. Just wasn't good enough. We've got a bit of fortune by getting back into a game that we arguably didn't deserve to, with that header from Jake Cooper. Can we press on in the second half? We've kind of got to. Otherwise, I think the mood will turn sour at the Den. Off we go. Coventry attacking the away end. Millwall will be attacking a cold blow in the second half, in accordance with the dictums of the Venerable Bede, writing in the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle in 9th century England. I've been watching that All or Nothing series with Arsenal in it, listeners. I'm way off the beat here, I know. I've only just caught on to the fact these series are on Netflix. But I was watching a couple of them. I'm bored of them now. I've watched a couple of them in the week. And Mikel Arteta's kind of pre-match and half-time patter seems to be kind of like a wellness type meme before the game, and then to throw things around at half time if it's not going well for them. I don't know what Gary Rowett's wellness meme is. No iron team or something like that, I guess. But whatever it is, I think they deserved a bit of teacup throwing at half time, because that was a poor show in the first period. This is Honeyman being pursued there. Doug in Stockholm, just reading Doug's tweet, he says, "Don't tell me Honeyman covers more ground than anybody else," because Afobe beat him for pace a couple of times in the first half. Controversial views from Doug in Sweden. I thought he's already been nominated as player of the season. A little moment on the edge of the penalty, the 17 inside middle half. That was straight in the face of Murray Wallace, who took it forward. The 14 still in possession, and Millwall haphazardly clearing. It's gone straight back to Coventry. We have looked with no fire in there. I think Mikel Arteta will be going on about guys, where's your passion? So I've watched 2 episodes of it, and I'm not going to watch any more because they all seem to be much the same. Plus, I'm not fundamentally interested. It's Arsenal. One thing that did make me laugh on this series, though, is they interspersed the dressing room scenes and the kind of London Colney training ground routines with interviews with fans, alleged fans. Half of them look like they've just been pulled out of an artisan bakery coffee shop in Islington or somewhere. Certain type, AFTV, Arsenal Fan TV type. A group of people I remember when we went to the podcast awards last year. They were winning all in sundry there, but they were a certain type. And I won't have that type on my show, listeners. You're not going to get hipster types on my show. I won't have it. Mill conceding possession repeatedly. Coventry coming back at us. The crowd getting restless, you can hear it. Shot from distance, that's straight at Bart, who takes it quite well. Crowd are not happy with what they're seeing. Possession given away there again. What's going wrong? Midfield is showing the ball's not sticking midfield. And it's being given away to Coventry to come back at us. And story of the first half is continuing the second so far. 48 minutes on the clock. Coventry again coming forwards into the Mill half. Edge of the penalty area, the 14 making a run. Cresswell does well there, brings it out. Honeyman. This is now Shackleton. He's got Tyler in front of him. What can Tyler do? The ball was slightly wide left. Tyler on the left now, he does collect. Shackleton again. Tyler takes his man on. What can he do from the distance of the box? Oh, it's at the post! Whistling equaliser! Honeyman from close! 2-2! Tyler shot in the post. Honeyman's down the rebound. First bit of flair we've seen in the half. In the game. 2-H. Let's see it on the showing from the left from Tyler Bury. Hit the post. He makes the heart sign to the fans. The rebound falls to George Honeyman. I haven't shown a replay yet on the screen, listeners. First bit of flair out attacking in the turn. They just showed the it's a shot from Honeyman, from Tyler. Pushed onto the post by the goalkeeper. Honeyman's there for the rebound to slot it home. 2 each. That's got the crowd going. It was on the turn, listeners, you could hear it. That's got us fired up. We still seem very loose in midfield. This is a worrying thing, listeners. Obviously it's 2 each, so you can't be too choice, but a lot of game time to go yet. 56 minutes. Left-sided corner again for Coventry. In it comes. It's floated into the near post. It's held against the crossbar. Space in the box. It's not got clear yet. The 15. They're calling for a handball, nothing given. Wow, a melee there. The shot looked like it hit someone's hand in there. Referee gives nothing. Little dodge a bullet, listeners. Hit against the crossbar there, 57 minutes. Living dangerously. Coventry working some nice passing movements around midfield. That's a worrying sign. I sound like a right old moan, don't I? Possession for Coventry at the moment, halfway inside our own half. On the right side now, chance for them to put the ball in. That's a poor choice. Mill giving the ball away cheaply, too cheaply. Here they come again, the 8 now on the D. Inside the Mill penalty, it's a shot that's over the bar. 59 minutes. There's a fat cunt in the red now. There's one in the vest earlier on. They've certainly attacked us hard in this game. I don't know what the statistics are. We obviously won't see those till tomorrow or later on perhaps. But we've been under a lot of pressure from Coventry. So far so good as we come towards the halfway point of the second half, but you do get a sense that they've still got a goal in them. The 38 is going to take the corner here, then in front of us. 66 minutes, it's swung in deep, that's over the heads of everybody. The 2 keeps it in, he keeps it in. It's still in play, he hasn't gone out. That's well headed by Billy Mitchell there. Can Tyler get there? He can, and he gets flat. It's got to be a free kick. That should be a yellow card. Danny's getting involved, he needs to walk away from that. No need for him to get involved, there's 2 yellow cards and he's off. Danny ought to be careful, he's having too much chit chat down there. Eyes in people's faces. Coventry down to 10 men, 60, comes to 67 minutes. calm down, Dan. This is where you use your head, not your Millwall heart. Big situation now. Can we press on against 10 men? We've historically struggled against 10 men, listeners, haven't we? I mean, this manager on manager, year upon year, we've never seemed to do well against 10 men. Why? I don't know. But it could be a good time to start turning that little foible around. Tyler did well to work that situation, because I thought the ball was loose, and I thought the defender probably didn't need to take him there, but he did take him. So free kick awarded, and the rest is history, listeners. There's a fat cunt in the pink now. We've had one in a vest, one in red. Now there's one in this multi-hued fat cunts from Coventry. Well, Mr. Blobby. I can't see him. I don't know what he looked like. Mr. Blobby, clearly. Ticking towards 80 minutes. This is Coventry coming forwards. We do need to keep on point, listeners. They have a chance for a shot from distance as high over the bar, thankfully. They gave him plenty of space there. Looks like Saville's going to come in. I imagine Billy Mitch. Right then it comes in. Honeyman comes out. That'll make Doug happy in Sweden. I'm thinking of you, Doug. There's Murray Wallace on the left. 84 minutes. They're just passing the ball backwards and forwards. Shackleton tries to pick a cross out. It's bouncing around. It falls to Saville. Slammed in. 3-2 Millwall. Ball flowing in from the left. Headed by a forward. It seemed to fall in slow motion again to Joel Saville, who kind of putted it in, golf club style. Like he's at the Royal kind of Berkshire Golf Club. He putted it in, side foot into the net, and it's 3-2 Millwall. 84 minutes, he'll watch it again. It seems to fall to him, a phobia little pass, and with a nice gentle little putt. I'm going to keep this golf metaphor going, listeners. 3-2 Millwall. Nicely placed into the bottom right hand corner. Joel Saville on the score sheet. Should he have started, listeners? Answers on a postcard to Doug in Stockholm. I think off the top of my head, listeners, last time we made a comeback from 2 goals behind. I'll have to check on the Millwall history websites. I can't think of one off the top of my head, standing here in the heat of the den. Can you think of one? Oh, it's the theatre of the brutal, listeners, isn't it? The theatre of cruelty. Where else would you want to watch your football? Come on. Watching all these Arsenal's programmes, it's so different to Millwall. Oh, there are moments I could laugh and cry all at once. It is so different. But where else do you want to be other than here right now? Anywhere in the world. Come back from 2-0 down. Disgruntled Coventry fans being harangued. What more do you want out of life? Well, let me put a question to you now, dear listener. 89.5 minutes, coming towards whatever added time. There'll be a little bit of added time. Isaac Alofi has come. Could this be a season turner? We've been lacking in fizz and energy. The Millwall spirit, we saw a bit of it against Stoke, but this comeback this afternoon against Coventry, sometimes a little bit against the run of play. We've turned around a 2-goal deficit, got ourselves in front. Let's hope we see it out after this little speech I'm making here. Is that a season turner? Helter Skelter in there, it's come out wide right. Coventry keeping the pressure on. That's gone out of play, as you can tell, as you can detect. George Evans has made his way into play somewhere. I've missed that, listeners. This is Tyler Bury on the right side of the Coventry penalty area. What can he do? There it is, full time, 3-2 Millwall. One of the best turnarounds in the game I've seen in a long while from Millwall. There were periods in that game where you wouldn't have said that was coming at all. To come back from a 2-goal deficit and come away with 3 points, is that a season turner? I jolly well hope so, listeners, don't you? Anyway, let the bench celebrate. Let's have the old status quo, mates. Here we go. Football, eh? Hope you enjoyed this little presentation from the Den this afternoon, listeners. We'll be back on Monday and I'll be talking to Michael Hayden and I hope Brian Loftus. And until the next show, thank you for listening. Enjoy your weekend. Bye for now. Here we go. Rocking all over the world.
So here is my voice note on yesterday's game. Now I've had a couple of hours to digest what it was. I thought yesterday goes without saying, really, doesn't it, that we started poorly to concede a goal that early against Coventry. Wasn't great. Defensive lapses for the goal. They obviously had the one disallowed for offside, but again, you can argue they still managed to beat a trap. They just didn't time their run properly. And I thought for the first half, apart from the goal that we scored, that saved an awful lot of booing. And Gary Rowett, your footballers, you know what. Because it was awful yesterday. Shackleton was barely in the first half whatsoever. Honeyman had a slow start. Creswell and Cooper just didn't seem to work well together. I remember one point in the game as well where Cooper and Creswell, there was about 10-15 yards between them. One of them just commits to go to the ball and leaves a Coventry player just stood on the edge of the 18-yard box by himself. And, you know, if the crossing was better, you're looking at 3-0. I think as well the shape was poor at times in the first half. There was one time where I asked the chap sat next to me, James, here's a shout out, I know he listens, what formation we're playing, because apart from the defenders who was in some kind of shape, it was just a straight line. There was no wide play. It was all very, very straight. It looked like a sort of inverted T, and it just didn't look like it was going to get any better. Mason Bennett obviously getting injured didn't look good neither, and that adds to what is starting to look like a little bit of a list of players who are injured or not ready for the first team. And we were looking at 2 defeats from 3 in the opening 3 games of the season. Q, not as bad as how Man United have started. Sorry, Mr. Paul. But second half was better. I still didn't think we was absolutely amazing, and I think Coventry's red card did help. But I did think we did play better, obviously, in the second half. And to quote the sort of new managers who like to use the word character in media trained press conferences, it did show character come from 2-0 down to win 3-2. It wasn't pretty. I don't really think... I mean, there was a guy... I went into HMP Harry's after the game, and there was a guy who asked who I thought was man of the match as an outfielder. I don't think anyone massively shone. Tyler Bury played well, yes. And as the second half went on, some players did play okay. But I don't think there was anyone who blew me away out on field. So I'd probably give it to Bury, because I thought his energy and his work rate and his runs were good. You can argue his end product needed a bit more work. I know he had the shot there at the post. But for me, I'd say man of the match would probably be Bart Białkowski, because the 2 goals he had nothing to do, because he was those type of goals that you can't blame the goalkeeper for. And the ones he did have to do, he made some nice saves, tipped a few over the bar, got down low for a couple as well. So I'd probably give it to Białkowski personally. But again, 3-2, you take that if you was offered at the start of the game. Also, I think that's the first time I've ever heard Bye for Now announce scheduled water breaks That was my impression in an Alan Partridge voice. That's not how he talks. But yes, 3-2 for Millwall, up to 4th. And again, I know a lot of people comment that you can't really look at the table this early in the season. You can't look at the table this early in the season because we're only 3-4 games in. But people are starting to comment about Norwich. So if they're commenting about Norwich being bottom of the table, you can comment about Millwall. Come on, you Lions. On to the next one.
Hi Nick, it's Angelo here, mate. We definitely used our get out of jail card yesterday. Obviously, the first half hour, Coventry were just... They made us look like a League Two team, to be fair, mate. I thought they were very, very good. And obviously, their striker, Gyökeres, I think his name is, it's got Premiership quality without a shadow of a doubt. Terrible performance. But obviously, we somehow grinded out a win, which I never obviously expected. But of all the 3-2 win, come back at 3-2. I'm still a little bit disappointed because obviously the performance was very abject. I was quite disappointed with Gary Rowett's post-match interview as well, saying that after the half hour we played really, really well. I don't think we played well at all yesterday. It was a terrible performance, but listen, we got the 3 points. That's the most important thing. A couple of things I'd like to say, Nick, is I strongly believe, it was great Honeyman got his goal yesterday, but I strongly believe, I think he will be better in the other position in midfield. And I would stick Saville. I'd stick Saville in where Joe, at the moment with all the injuries we've got, I'd stick Saville in the 10 role, and I would drop Honeyman into the where Billy Mitchell and Shackleton play. That's just my opinion. Bury, fantastic performance. Concerns me he gets a little bit lazy sometimes, but yeah, he's just got that star quality. And when he starts running at defenders, they can't handle him, can they? If he'd done that full time, my God, he'd be some player. Would be some player. Also, a little special mention as well to the ref. I thought that ref yesterday was one of the best refs that I've seen down at the Den for a number of years. I think he used to be a Premiership ref, and then something happened in his personal life, and Bobby Madley, I think it is, and he got demoted to like League Two or National League. But yeah, I agree with every decision he made yesterday. I think he was one of the best refs I've seen down at the Den for a long time. So credit to him, and I like their Dutch lookalike kits as well. They look quite nice. Get out of jail card used. Very, very 2 tough games. If we can pick up 3 points out of the next 2 away games, I'll be very happy. Or 2 draws. I'll take 2 draws, to be fair. But it's going to be a tough week. Anyway, great result at the end. And come on, you Lions.
Hi, Nick. Just ringing in with a post-match report from the 3-2 victory against Coventry. Well, what can you say really? Very poor defensive start again. Cresswell error, no communication amongst the 3 central defenders, a corner, and obviously, these championship sides do a lot of research into each other because they exploited a perennial weakness of Millwall. Bart cannot come and claim corners. He's not good at that. And we're very poor at defending our near post. Curling ball straight into the near post. Big bundle of players, 1-0 down. Thank you very much. There is an argument that we wouldn't have got that goal, it would have been disallowed. But there you go. The second goal was just sweets off a baby. Millwall's defensive coaching staff need to forget about Cruyff turns and Hollywood balls and all this old malarkey. They've got to do tackling practice and talking to each other and clearing their lines and stopping attackers, because it was absolutely embarrassing. I've never been so embarrassed. This is the club of Barry Kitchener and Harry Cripps. And, these players, Jake Cooper, they're not a shadow on Barry Kitchener. Kitchener didn't make mistakes. He did the percentage thing, and Millwall got to start playing the percentages at the back. We're going to struggle big time in this division if we carry on like that. Scott Malone needs to be dropped. He is a defensive liability. an absolute liability. You might as well have him playing for the other team, because poor old Murray Wallace had to do the job of two men covering for his errors. Again, pretty poor in the midfield. Billy Mitchell didn't have the greatest of games. It wasn't a great performance, and we were 2-0 down. As luck would have it, or unlucky for Mason Bennett, but lucky for us, there was an injury. Tyler Bury came on, and I've been arguing for Tyler Bury to start every single game and get as much play as possible. And I think the proof of the pudding's in the eating. An instant impact. Instantly gave Millwall something positive to hang on to, and we started to claw our way back. So fantastic effort. I don't know how we did it. Coventry could have gone 3, 4, 5 up quite easily, but Biatoski saved a few shots in the second half. We huffed and puffed and got in good positions, and George Saville came on and slotted home the winner. It was a roller coaster ride. It was a typical Mill performance in that, our goals were hard fought for and required a lot of hard work. Tyler Bury cutting in from the left wing and, clipping the bar, superb. The kid's brilliant. I think he's great. But what I've got to say is this: we got to sort ourselves out defensively, because we're going to struggle against the likes of Burnley, and these other teams. They're going to put 5 or 6 goals on us. I'll tell you now, Watford are going to, batter us, because we've got nothing at the back. Poor old Jake Cooper, he needs help, he needs support. You've got to put Ryan Leonard in instead of Scott Malone, or configure it somehow so that you get Cresswell off and you get Scott Malone off, and you put your solid boys in there. You put your Sean Hutchinsons and your Ryan Leonards, and they can support Jake, who's a wonderful player, but his head drops, you can see it, and they get on top of him. The attackers get on top of him. So come on, Millwall, well done today, but sort your lives out of the back.
Hello Nick, Graham Payne here. Well, if one game could sum up what it's like being a Millwall supporter, today's game was it. The first 30 minutes, we let in 2 goals. We couldn't string a pass together. The centre forward, whose name I can't pronounce, number 17, was running the back 3-5, ragged. Jake Cooper in particular. Mason Bennett then gets injured again. I listened to the pod yesterday where you mentioned about him chatting about his injuries, but there's just no reliability. He can just break down at any moment. I've heard he's torn his hamstring, so he's going to be out for a while again. But on the plus side, I was pleased to see Tyler Bury come on, which, as I said on Monday in the pod, that I'd like to have seen him start. And then I think the turning point of the game, the Millwall's first goal, because their goalkeeper's come out and made an error, come flying out for a ball he's never going to get, and Jake Cooper's lobbed it over him into the net. We could and should have equalised straight after that when the next attack. I don't know how Murray Wallace hasn't put that rebound away from Honeyman's shot. But going in at 2-1 at half time, we were back in for a shout. So the second half gets underway. It's little bits and pieces, and then Tyler Bury does what Tyler Bury and no other one in that team can do. He beat a man and then curled a shot from distance, and the goalkeeper saves, and Honeyman follows up, and it's 2-2. And that one moment for me, maybe I'm being a bit over the top, but that's why Tyler Bury should be given a run in the side. He gives us an option, something different. He beats men. He can run at pace, and no one else in that team can do that. Now, I know he's going to have bad games, but he's also going to have good games. Them sort of players always do. But I feel now he's got to be given a run in the side. So 2-2, they then get a player sent off. Could have gone either way. We always seem to struggle when the Oppo go down to 10 men, and 17 again had another run and shot that Bart saved. We then get the break, and George Saville puts it away nicely, 3-2, and we're all rocking all over the world at the end. Still think there's a lot to work on. I mean, for a week's training, the passing at times was poor. There was a lot of lumping it up the field to Afobe, and Afobe is not that type of striker. He doesn't want balls lumped up to him. Maybe the new German guy, will enjoy that. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But, you know, the spirit was there and they managed to turn it around. So you've got to say, well done to the boys for that. On now to, you know, 2 tough away games, Swansea on Tuesday night and then Norwich on Friday night. But let's hope there's an improvement now on the away form as well. Come on, you Lions.
You have been listening to Achtung, Millwall. Please do leave us a review at Apple Podcasts. Dankeschön. Up the Lions.
No One Likes Us Clothing is the clothing range designed by Millwall fans for Millwall fans. Caps, t-shirts, polos, they've got it all. Visit noonelikes.us.co.uk for the full range. Or if you're in Bermondsey on a match day, why not have a pint in the Blue Anchor pub and pick up a Nolu polo shirt, Nolu clothing at www.noonelikes.us.co.uk.